Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Been a long day. Had some stuff stolen out of the back of my truck, so I'm down a couple tools. Not really a big deal. Just heard something over there, probably a mouse. It is what it is, who cares? We're gonna work on this. We're gonna do a filter change for the oil, then air filter. Obviously we're gonna change the oil, and I think that's about it. So we'll start with the air filter, easy. Changing off the oil filter, again, easy. Taking out the oil, that's slightly more difficult. We'll see what this is. Let's take a look at this actually. So if memory serves correctly, this is a liquid cooled dual piston or twin cylinder John Deere engine. I think it's 22 horsepower, or no, it's 17 horsepower. And yeah, there, 17 horsepower. Oil goes in here. There's a little nut over here. I'll just pull this back. You guys can take a look right there. That's where the oil will come out. Oil filter, and if I take this off, we'll get to with the housing right there where the air filter is. Very simple stuff, and I'm not sure what oil this thing takes. We're just gonna look it up. I'm sure I have the right fluid here. We'll start off with, like I said, air filter. We'll turn off that, put it back on. You'll see me do this when I take this off. I'm gonna actually cut it out at the end of the video, but also I put a little bit of oil on the seal of that, and then we're gonna drain the oil. Simple, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Let's get to it. And that's it. Air filter's done. Took a look at the new one, or sorry, this is the old one. As you can see, pretty well identical. Like, no issues with that. Could run this for a long time longer, or a lot time. But hey, came with the kit, so we're gonna move on to the oil filter. Okay, oil filter's off. Had to use a wrench, but you know what? Sometimes you gotta do that. I am at the end of this video gonna cut open an oil filter and take a look at what is going on with that. But right now, we're gonna empty the oil in the engine. So we've let the oil change. Sorry. So we've let the oil drain. Made a bit of a mess. Not a big deal. Grabbed some of this off the shelf, full brand new bottle. I had to open it up, throw it in here. I have one of these little nifty things from when I do my diesel changes. So again, a little bit of diesel oil doesn't really matter with this. And this 10W30 is for gasoline engines. I believe that the oil capacity would include the oil filter. Some people actually fill the oil filter before they put it on. I just put it around the seal. It's gonna fill up almost immediately. I do not know if this is magnetic or not. So if you guys know, leave it down in the comments. If not, oh well. You do want to make sure that the crush washer is still there. So often you probably want to replace that. So in some cases, people just leave them on for the life of the vehicle and or tractor in this case. So it looks like the oil is pretty much done. And it's good to change your oil twice a year. That's what I do. So spring and fall. This one was a little bit dated because of COVID and whatnot. Another thing good to change would be your coolant. In this case with the liquid cooled, I probably should have went with the cast iron proven air cooled, but I didn't. I don't know why. Just kind of seemed more fun, and I kind of regret that decision. Also, it came with a snowblower, which the other one didn't. So we're gonna throw this in here into the engine, but first we're gonna do the plug installation. You don't want to start filling it back up because then it'll be emptying into the pan. And that's it. So whenever I check the oil after I've filled everything up, make sure it's wiped off. When I put it in, I tighten it all the way down and then bring it back up just like what you would have if you left it stationary. Never check it while it's running because it's not going to be accurate. And as you can see there, she is full. So we're good to go. Some nice clean oil instead of that dark black stuff from the summer. Oil filter is tight. Air filter is tight, so this thing's ready to go. Give her a nice little start, see what happens. So I tried to start it, and if you look down here, we got a whole mess of fuel. So that's probably why she's not running. And I'm very thankful she didn't start, because it could have been a bit of a fire. Not that I don't have fire extinguishers everywhere, but we're gonna check out what's going on with this, what line fell off, and figure it out. Be right back. So I didn't film it leaking, but this is where it was coming from. I took this off, cleaned it, and if I turn the ignition, you hear the water, or so you hear the fuel going, but not the, what do you call it? Not the leak. So it looks good. Too bad for the fuel. Anyways, let's see if this thing starts now. She's obviously still leaking. Is it still leaking? Yep, there she goes. That's ridiculous. Well, I tried a couple more times to see if I can get this thing running. Yeah. So, dumping fuel all over the place. Not good. Anyways, we're gonna just change some more parts and go from there. It does fire up for a couple seconds. I highly doubt she's gonna do it now. Put this up here. Bring this down that way. Nope. Okay, anyways. Well, at least if you've made it this far in the video, you know how to change oil in your tractor. Very simple to do. You got the drain plug right there. You drain out the oil. If you want to make it go faster, you just take off the cap. That way the air can circulate a little bit. Make sure you put a bucket underneath to catch it. You also can take it out by vacuuming it out with an oil pump.
This would be an example of your manual fuel extraction pump or oil extraction pump. And this is an example of your 12-volt powered extraction pump.
In some cases you have to do that in boats and outboard motors and stuff. Changing your oil filter, always lubricate the seal. Don't double seal it. Make sure you clean off all the mating surfaces. And then make sure you put the oil in the appropriate amount, the appropriate type. And if the engine's warm, it'll help out the process. And even if you don't have warm oil, you can always put into some warm water, like the container, and then it'll help it become more viscous, and that way it'll flow better. But as always, guys, take care, be safe, have fun. If you're doing any questionable, name it after me, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace. Okay, guys, I'm gonna grab the oil filter, put it right there. Got my gloves on so I don't get less mess on, no skin contact with the oil because it's not good. And then we're gonna cut it. Ta-da! Got two tools, I got the cutter, and I got the vice grips, and then we're gonna go to
Worst idea ever.
So that did not work, probably because the oil filter is so thin-walled. I thought this would. This is typical for me for bigger oil filters, for bigger motors. But we'll use the grinder. Hopefully there's not a lot of contamination. It's going to do nice little cuts all the way around it. And we'll see what happens.
Wear your safety goggles and ear protection.
So this is the top part of the oil filter, right here. That's where the seal is. You don't want to double seal it. Then you get your internal gasket that usually sits right about, that goes right about there. And then this sits right there. And then you have the actual filter element. So hopefully I can get this out, since I have kind of damaged the entire container for said seal. I'll be right back. So we've taken I'll move that out of the way. It's been about 2 days since I had the what do you call it, the gas spill. So what we want to take a look inside the oil filter is to see if we find any metallic pieces. And as you can see, there's no metallic pieces. So let's open it up over here. Even with the grinding, there's no metallic pieces. Put it in there. You would see many pieces. You can see right here, if there was like the bearings and stuff that would be ripped up, you would see that in the oil filter right away, even though I cut through it and obviously contaminated it. These lawnmower oil filters are not as resilient as I thought they were. But all in all, looks pretty good. I don't see a lot of metal particles. This does have a spring at the bottom of the container to hold and push in place, so it all stays firm. There is a bit of a mechanical mechanism in these that if this was to get plugged up, it would become a bypass. That all being said, this looks really good, and I'm gonna head off to work. Again, like I said, it's been 2 days since the actual mess of the fuel that I cleaned up and then let the garage ventilate. I'll come back and clean this up later. You guys don't need to see that. Anyways, there you go. That's how you open up your oil filter forcefully. Usually I just take it off like as I saw there with the exhaust cutter. Usually that's enough, but these things are so thin-walled. Anyways, catch you all in the next one.